Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap Session for Tuesday, October the 3rd, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses. We do create multiple hypotheses in order to have a plan in place. We do not know what the market's going to do. We can only have a plan of action developed for each scenario, let the market tell us what it's doing, and then execute the plan that best suits the market. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. We do everything live here in the go-to, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the regular trading session. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see on Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. All right, so let's just take a look at yesterday. Yesterday turned out to be a gap and go day, which was our hypo 3. We opened auction just out of range that came down, got one tick inside of the prior day, left the naked close and the naked VPOC alone, rallied up into 25.75. Beautiful FUBAR Mr. Sneaky setup. Hold on one second. Beautiful FUBAR Mr. Sneaky setup, rotation down to 19, and then basically we just grinded the rest of the day and had a slow grind up into equalizing the all-time high and then putting in a new all-time high. Very boxy looking profile again, very tight rotations with a slow grind to the upside, after the initial push and pullback. So it was a pretty boring day yesterday, again today, but that's what the market is giving us as we grind to new all-time highs. Taking a look at the news, there's not a lot of news today. We've got total vehicle sales throughout the day. We've got FOMC Powell speaking right now. 12:30, we've got Governor Council member Leduc from Canada speaking, and that's about it for scheduled news. So, we still have a lot of headline risk, but man, the headline risk doesn't seem to be affecting the price of the market. One of the worst acts of terrorism in mass murder in the United States, and the market just continues to grind higher. So taking a look at the macro to micro, I always like to start my day using a simple candlestick chart. I use a 9 EMA and a 20 SMA on all my charts. What I'm looking for is where we are in the different time frames of the trend. Do we have good slope and separation on the 9 and the 20? Also, I use my TOS paper money for doing chart patterns and drawings, just because I like the tools. So we're in this upward sloping pitchfork in a very strong upward trend on the monthly. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We are now in our 12th month of one time framing up on the monthly. This trend is extremely strong. We just put in a new all-time high in the Globex at 29.50. Again, we'll be watching for this high to be equalized out during the RTH session. If you go back and do a back testing, it's very rare where you get an all-time high put in the Globex that is not revisited in the regular trading session. Same thing with the prior contract to a rollover contract. As we move down to the weekly, you can see that we did violate the one-time framing that we had for 5 weeks up but they didn't. They came down to the 9 and basically bounced and put in all-time high. We're in this upward channel right now that I'm watching, and this has still got room to expand to the upside. Good slope and separation on the 9 and the 20. The trend is very much intact. On the daily, we're getting a bit of a technical gap against the 9 EMA. So I'll be watching for some type of a pullback towards this 9. This has gone a little bit parabolic. We had 2 gap and go days once we broke out of this balance. So we'll be looking for a bit of a pullback today. And we'll talk about that when we get into our hypos. But the trend is not even close to being challenged until we get all the way back to 25.12 and a quarter. Going to the intraday, you see that we have a 4-hour Mr. Sneaky. This is not a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky, but there is a technical gap. So one of the reasons why I'm looking for a pullback towards the, I'm thinking 25 to 27 as the pullback here. But the trend is very strong, good slope, good separation as we move to the 1 hour. We've come back to the 9 and we're going sideways, trying to hold the 9, but we're losing slope and separation on the moving averages. If we break below the 27 and a quarter, that'll be our first shot at a violation of the upward trend on the 1 hour. 30-minute, we broke below and then we bounced back and we're trying to hold, but we're below the 20, coming down to test the 9 from above. And then on the 15-minute, same thing. We broke below, but we're back above. There's a naked cross right here at 25.28, and I know Marvin was talking to Jeff, and I don't know if Jeff is here right now. But I'll talk about this. It's a 9 EMA and a 20 SMA that I did the study on, what we call naked crosses. Naked crosses, for those that are visiting, are like naked VPOCs or naked closes. They have a very high probability of being retested when they're put in. So we watch them specifically on the 5, the 15, and the 30 for intraday trading, but we also watch them for targets on larger time frames as well. Going to the 5-minute, you can see that we're going in a sideways consolidation pattern. So again, this market is just continuing to creep higher. If we look at the structure of the market, here's our, just a little bit of a narrative for those. We were watching this area right here, this microcomposite value area with the microcomposite VPOC at 6750. We finally gapped up out of it, and then we came up in the first 4 days. We created this balance around the 93.75 area, gapped up, created a new microcomposite VPOC at 25.0475, couldn't hold it, came back down, tested the close of the breakout day, found our buyers, accepted value higher at 97, and we were watching this microcomposite. If I move this this profile back, you can see that this microcomposite was back here at 93.75, and what we were looking for on this day right here is we were looking for the confirmation of the microcomposite VPOC to shift up to the 97. That would give us our go ahead to get long for the breakout of the value, and we did. We came up, then we accepted the price in around the 25.0475, and we broke out of the balance area, went into price discovery. Yesterday we had a hypo of a possible gap and go day. They gave us the gap and go day, and now we're trading just above the prior day, and we have a possibility of another continuation day. I don't think we're going, I put this on less probability. I think that we're going to probably come back down and test this 20 to 24 area and try to accept value and create a new balance day. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen. We could get another gap and go, but more likely, as a normal auction that we balance out here after the second continuation day. So if we take a look at the overnight structure, you can see that, value is creeping up, okay, and we came up and, inventory overnight is about 70% net positive, net long. I want to point out that we have this cliff right here at the 27 and a quarter. Once we came down, we got to the LVN from the RTH session. They based here, and then they broke out again, put in that new all-time high in the Globex. And when they came back down to test the prior day range, the buyers stepped in. And so far, we've been holding above the prior day range. So anything below the 27 and a quarter is falling off the cliff, and we're likely to come down. And the first target will be the HVN here at the 26 and a quarter, watching for possible support at 25.75. But I'm thinking we're probably going to come down and close this naked VPOC down here at 24 and create a base. So if we start taking our numbers and moving them over, our new all-time high, let me get this out of the way, our new all-time high and overnight high is 29.50. Again, this will be revisited at some point in time in the RTH session. It doesn't normally happen like it did yesterday, where we did it the very next session. So it is a possibility, but this is our new Globex all-time high. Of course, our RTH all-time high is the 27, and then our overnight low is 25.50, which is that just by that LVN, and then our Globex VPOC is not likely going to shift at 28.50. That's where we're sitting right now, and we've got pretty good kurtosis around the 28.50. It's a pretty valid value area, but I'm going to pay more attention to the value area low because it's right at that 27 and a quarter and the range high from yesterday. So that is going to be a very important trade level for us. It's going to be our over-under line. I can't type today. And then there's really not much more I can glean from the overnight session. So let's just get that out of the way and bring this out so we can take a closer look at this. We've got the 24 as a target. That's our VPOC. We've got the 1975 as possible support. I'm going to be watching this value area low as well at 21.50. And then our key line in the sand is actually going to shift up now, and it's going to be at this 18 and a quarter. Below 18 and a quarter, I'm looking for a bigger pullback. All right, and then we've got targets at 16, 50, 50, and then all of these levels remain valid. Remember that, well, I'm going to take this over underline off. Remember that we still have not gone back to the 50% of the significant breakout candle, which is another probability that we'll be watching for. Our 20-period full session daily ATR is running at 1209, so off of the low overnight of 25.50. Our upside daily ATR target is up at 37, is that right? That is right, 37.50. We got range capabilities today up to 3750 without expanding our average true range. And off of the high overnight of the 2950, and again, this high could be taken out. We're only trading a few ticks out, so this might change. Minus the 1209. Our downside daily ATR is at 1750. Basically the range low from yesterday. Looking above, there is a measured move. We have two measured moves. We have one at 3150. That goes, it's a fib extension from 711 to 88 to 821. And that's at 3150. And there's one at 32 and a quarter, which is from 821 to 91 to 95. You know, we got nothing above us to guide us, so the only thing we can do is use measured moves based on fib extensions or chart patterns. What did I say? 32 and a quarter. Now, I think there is a zipper measured move as well. So let me just look at that on the calendar. Yes, there is a zipper measured move here. So our impulse wave starts at the 19. This will remain valid until we break 19 up into the 27. And this gives us a primary target of 32. And that's right in between these two right here. So 32. And that is a zipper measured move. I'm not going to get in on how I do my zipper measured moves right now for those wondering that are visiting right now. But if you send me an email and want to come in to the room for a day or two, I can give you an idea of what, you know, some of these proprietary stuff. So we are trading right now at the overnight VPOC. I'm looking for a rotational day. So what is my hypothesis for the day? My hypothesis is an open auction out of range, a push up to equalize the 2950 or put in a new Globex high and do a make and break. But somewhere between the 2950 and the 32, I'm looking for responsive sellers to step in and rotate us back down, chop between the 27 and a quarter and the overnight VPOC at 2850, fail, come down, take out the naked close at 26 and a quarter, and then push down, taking out the overnight low and coming down, finding this 24 and then balancing here, basing and rotating in the upper distribution of yesterday's session. That is hypo 1. Hypo 2, which unfortunately, I know this has been confusing, is equally weighted. You know, the last, I don't know, what is it, 5 days we've been talking about that, you know, it's a 50% probability of, you know, which hypo 1 or hypo 2 is going to play out. And that's basically where I'm at right now. And again, we're going to add hypo 3 into that equation as we did yesterday. So hypo 2 is an open auction out of range, a push down, chop between the 25 and the 27, come down into the 24, and somewhere between the 24 and the 21, I'm looking for a basing pattern and then rotating up and chopping around in the upper distribution and closing probably somewhere around the 25 to the 28. That is hypo 2. And just like yesterday, because of the fact that we're in price discovery and this trend is so strong, hypo 3 is also going to be equally weighted as 1 and 2, and it is going to be our gap and go continuation. Now, this is a this will be the third gap and go, so it might be a blow off. So I'd be looking for a open auction out of range or open drive, a push up immediately to take out that Globex all-time high, push up into the 32, chop around here, and then trend up into the 37 to 40, 45 area as a continuation and possibly a blow off. So I'd be looking for a strong move and then see strong selling coming in and then rotating us back down into the close and getting a bit of a FUBAR type scenario. And then Hypo 4 is a take back day, and that would be a trend day down, open auction out of range, failed to take out the Globex all-time high, and coming down into the 24 to 21, chopping here, then failing and coming down to test this 18 to 17 area with possibly a late day probe down to 15, and then closing somewhere around this 15 down here, back in this little distribution zone right now. We've had a pretty strong move. We have a pretty big technical gap on the daily, so I am going to be looking for possible shorts once we break the over underline, or we come up into the 32 area will be the first area. But we got to pay very close attention to what who's in control and how strong is there an open drive. Do not try to fade an open drive today. If we get into a gap and go scenario, I don't want to see you guys trying to short that. Don't fade any driving action to the upside right now. Take a look at gold. As we talked about, that we were looking for the move back into this 75.50. This is the composite VPOC, the most traded price. We failed to hold that into the 1300 level several times when we got back in there, and we couldn't hold the 91 or the 87. So we were looking for a move back to this price, which is the most accepted price going back to October the 24th, 2008. We're creating a little bit of a balance around here. Balance is at 77 area, and we're trading 73. I think we see more chop in this area. I actually think we're probably, the average, where I'm looking for harmonic in the larger time frame in gold is between the $38 and $42, and you can see that we had the $42 here, but 47 and 46. So these downward rotations are bigger than normal. So I'm thinking that we could probably even extend down into the 63 and a quarter. But I'll be watching the range low at 71 for that possibility. I thought it was setting up a little bit earlier this morning, but the buyers stepped in just below. I think it was at 71.70. They stepped in and have come back up. This is going to act as a magnet as long as we're trading around it. But I think before we get the bigger move up, we might have to come down to this 63 level. If we get back above 75.50 and hold, the first target is at 78 to 79 area. But the next big target above will be back to that 87.4, and looking for the basing there for the continuation back up into the 1300s. So that's going to complete my pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side. If you're visiting and you want to come in and check out the room for the live trading and analysis, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. Everybody have a safe and lovely trading day.